Very good. I think that's all the time.
Call the meeting to order. Motion to approve the minutes. All in favor? Yeah. Frank, you got something?
I got just a question for the board. I'm not sure that I need the authority or whatever, but one of the biggest reasons I ran for selectmen is because of the budget for the transfer station. I'd like to just let you know that I'd like to look into, different options, I guess you might say, not necessarily try to change something, but just look to see if we can change something.
Have at it. Yeah, especially.
I mean, there's a lot of different things
Yeah.
that come into play. I just want you to know that, I just want you to know that I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, whatever you find, just run it to her, she'll run it to us.
If there's something that we can do for, to save some money, that's a great thing.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
I just didn't know how to go about it, and I didn't wanna, I know we can't talk about it outside of meeting, so I thought I'd better bring it up now.
This is what you do it.
Payroll all approved. Junkyard permit for Bruce Collins. That's, I believe it's, did you sign this, Frank? Yeah, nope.
Told
And then
you
you
to.
have to sign. the
That's
second.
one of them,
You have to sign the second.
Calling the junkyard permit, it's an auto.
Oh.
Graveyard.
Yes, sir.
That's,
We stand corrected.
Yes, it was, I read it the way it is here, but I do know that.
that is mine. Sorry.
That is all done. Mr. Walker on graveyard repairs, veteran graveyard repairs.
Yes, I am here and kind of requesting on the behalf of Jess Davis. I think everybody knows Jeff and is familiar with the work that she has performed. She provided me with a letter. Since moving to Brownfield 6 years ago, I have been very active in cleaning up our cemeteries and restoring gravestones in them. This includes full restoration of Quick Rogers Cemetery, Wentworth Brown Cemetery, Samuel Johnson Cemetery, and the Thomas Cotton Cemetery, as well as numerous individual gravestone repairs. I have also completed a lengthy application process for 4 gravestones from the VEA for our unmarked veterans and set them with the graves to help with the help of volunteers. I plan to continue to volunteer my services as much as I can. As a trained cemetery conservator, I typically charge towns and cemetery associations per stone for my work, which I have not done for Brownfield. I would like to start using the $500 set aside for veteran grave repair each year to do some restoration. I have identified at least 10 veteran stones in Pine Grove Cemetery alone that are leaning on a dangerous angle. I am willing to straighten 5 a year for this $500, a considerable discount from what I usually charge. The stones that are in most needy are Frank Stone, David Fogg, D. Stinson Patton, James Goodwin, and Charles H. Day. Please let me know if this is acceptable and I will get started. And she provided me with an address, and I was hoping that the board would be able to approve and send Jeff a check for what is in the veteran grave repair account. I've kind of been part of it with her. She does a fantastic job and has quite a bit of supplies that she has to purchase that she has done out of her own pocket. So I'm just requesting that $500 to be sent to Jess on her behalf.
Who's in charge?
Well, go ahead, Frank.
I just would like to ask one question. Could we get some kind of a, statement like that or invoice or whatever?
I can provide you with the letter that she sent me. And I'm sure I can get you what she has spent in product in the past year just in the town of Brownfield alone. I know there was $200 worth of aluminum stock purchased to support the headstones for various cemeteries in town.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can ask her for a monetary list and I can forward it via email, but I will drop this off when I leave tonight. Just as her request, she just
Who oversees the 500?
That's
in
town money, isn't it?
Who's in charge of it?
That town money. I'd say we are.
It's I
So-
believe it's an administrative line item for veterans grave repair.
Okay, so it hasn't been spoken for anything.
Yeah, as long as we get invoice, we can do that.
I will have her provide that, and I'll forward it to you or have her drop it off.
Okay. Albert Moulton.
I have a concern and I'm looking for an update on something and it's financial, and just as a little background, I have a fairly deep financial background with owning 5 businesses and in banking for over 20 years, and including municipal banking. Last fall when I received a letter, certain things will send up red flags to me. When I received a letter about the double deposit back in 2020 and 2021 of taxpayers' property tax monies, could have been other monies in it. I met with Wanda. The meeting that I had, I did record that conversation, so nothing's embellished, but all the answers that I received from her were less than adequate. It was saying we should or could have, but if the deposit was done twice, the deposit was there. A municipal bank, it doesn't take place that way. The fact that it took place in 2 separate fiscal years, and the fact that it was just shy of stale dating checks of 8 months, certain red flags. Blame was put on the auditor, blame was put on the taxpayers, and the blame was put on the bank that never wants to the financial office take responsibility. My question to you, because after that, then I started doing some research and certainly see on the state site, the last audit that was submitted was in June of 2020, which would have been for the previous fiscal year. So the auditor would have not even had his hands on information yet. My question was, I understand audits have been submitted. Have you as selectmen, because the selectmen and the financial office should be the ones receiving information back from the auditor, have you received any updates on audits that have taken place?
No, we have not.
Okay. So my other concern is the fact that she does not, there doesn't seem to be any way, because of it being an elected position, to keep this accountable and keep the town in a good financial health status. I don't go by numbers that somebody's given me. I don't believe that's why I would report in a conversation from financial standpoint. At this point, we are only one of 3 towns or 4 towns in the whole state that are that delinquent with our audits. And that's really sad for a county size. So I don't understand how even budgets didn't take you working clear back from that far back. I mean, it's all the numbers are an illusion because we don't have accuracy.
Right.
So if the fact that the position is elected and nobody can do the oversight with it, and nobody can force having more current information, this to me can't take place. It's no longer a popularity contest having an elected position. Hence the Article 6 and 7 are what the townspeople have asked to have it changed to. And that is what I'm kind of asking that the select board move forward on that.
Yep. And I will ask her tomorrow if she has anything from the auditor.
And if not, that's also a concern. If I don't know when the information has been submitted to the auditor, but it's not the auditor's fault. They can't do anything until they receive information. So if it goes clear back to June of 2020, that the last audit is posted on the state site, that's pretty abysmal.
I thought that those checks were all taken care of.
It's not a matter of whether they were taken care of. It's a matter of if that money was deposited and now has to be, I mean, it's a domino effect. It now has to be paid back to the taxpayers. That's all fine, but there's no reason, the fact that it was 2 separate fiscal years was going to take the auditor a long time to try to catch up and piece those together. And it also has a domino effect on if you have to turn around and pay back that money. I asked where the money was, and I asked, did you not, before you sent that deposit again. 8 months later, did you not think to call the bank? And that, the answer I got there was, that's a woulda, shoulda, coulda. And that's the answer I received.
Little all
That's
COVID stuff.
looks up to office.
Okay.
So I'm just asking for some movement forward. It can no longer be an elected position. It's strictly a popularity contest. It doesn't matter if it's the president down to a local community.
Mhm.
And we need people that are qualified.
Absolutely. Yep. Vinnie,
Yeah, I was wondering if the board has reached a decision yet on giving the chairman of the budget committee access to the legal department of MMA to ask questions, just for assistance and guidance and not for representation of any litigation.
we haven't, because we haven't had a real chance to talk about it. I can't see anything that the budget committee would come up to in a legality standpoint.
We are accountable, that's an advisory
And
board,
we're on the board.
it's our ticket, any problems, anything happens, we're responsible.
Well, they're on the board, but still, I think,
No, but
you're not on the board, you're on the committee. But I think the board should have access to legal information that, you know, so they can make decisions more confidently. You know, on who's spending what monies, what for, and how they could pursue it if, you know, it's not always gonna be the same select. So the budget committee can't always rely on the selectmen's benevolence to give them the answers to pursue it, you know, I mean, you guys might not be on it, who knows what's gonna be on it. So, I mean, the other elected boards, the, you know, planning board, 3 selectmen, the administrative assistant, and actually the planning board has 3 people that have access to the MMA legal department. It would seem like the voters voted for the budget committee, it's an elected position. And I assume when they vote, they want them to have the access that's available to the town for the budget committee or any committee they elect with the taxpayer money they provide. So it's just a matter of access for information, but not representation on anything. There's nothing really that, you know, is pending in anybody's mind. It's just my feeling that the budget committee or any committee, they should have their own, be autonomous to the selectmen or other departments, like the planning board's autonomous with the selectmen. Budget, the selectmen are on the budget committee. The budget committee is not part of the selectmen. So the budget committee should have their own sovereignty in researching things. And not just me, I mean, I'm not gonna be on there forever. If you could guarantee it, that would be, but I'm not. But, you know, it's just, I mean, there's things that come up, you know, if there's groups or budgets or something where money's being spent, and the budget committee wants access to the numbers, and depending on who the selectmen are, they might want to give it. I mean, I asked questions last year about certain things on budget items, and nobody got the answer, you know, and I had no way to pursue it in any way as chairman of the budget committee. So that's why I think the budget committee should have access. I mean, just like information. I mean, asking you guys are busy enough, you know, I mean, selectmen, not just you 3, but any selectmen. And, you know, pursue something that, you know, the budget committee, you know, the planning board to chase us down to try and, you know, get information. Like now, I mean, it's been several weeks and you still haven't been in because you're busy. I mean, I understand that. So, you know, it's just a matter of, the people on the budget committee are qualified people. I mean, a lot of them, new appointees, the people who've been elected, and they should be treated as such, you know, with the responsibility of finding out information for themselves. I mean, you know, the budget committee's always been kind of like on the side, you know, it's not ever been recognized like a planning board or anything else. And it's time, I feel, that if people are gonna be elected to it, they should have access, you know, to what the town expected them to have access to with their money and what they vote. So yeah, if you consider it some more, I appreciate it, and maybe even take it into consideration with one of the legal departments, you know, not, I mean, just as advice, you know, what they think. So, I mean, that's my feeling on it, anyway,
You get any thoughts, Frank?
I got one question.
Sure.
You know of any situation in the past that where the budget committee had to get a hold of, legal to get it?
Well, not to get a whole legal, but just, if money's being spent that wasn't identified in the annual report. And if there's a way that the budget committee can access the information on money's being spent without, having to ask the selectmen, and the selectmen have to provide the information, or the secretary or treasurer or whatever. I mean, I can't predict what might come up. All I know is what I think, they should have access to the budget committee.
I've always been under that the budget committee is a, recommendation. They're not monitoring. That's not really a job to monitor what the town is spending. I mean, at least that's my opinion.
We're responsible for everything they do. The budget. They're an advisory board to us. Any decisions, everything that goes between us and the townspeople, we own it. And there's 5 people on that committee that have access to MMA. We would not refuse any legal question whatsoever. If each year, when the budget committee forms, we'll have to contact MMA, put the person on.
The chairman?
On the list, yeah. And then at the end of the sessions in April, et cetera, we have to call them up, take it off each year. Because it's not gonna be on for the entire year, they're only gonna be on when the budget committee's working. And I think it's just unnecessary, there's an advisory board to the 4 or 5 people that's on there, if they've got a legal question, by all means, put it, I don't know.
Well, these you 3 guys might not have a problem, but there might be other selectmen in the future. I mean, it's just a buffer that, they would have access.
But they own it, if something's wrong, we own it.
Well, yeah, but the budget committee is a separate committee from the selectmen. The selectmen are on the budget committee. The budget committee is not part of the selectmen. So they should have access to whatever is available for whatever ideas they might come up with to help the selectmen. Or if there's even a disagreement, and there can be, why wouldn't there be? I mean, at some point, they shouldn't be just a yes and no committee for the budget. It should be more than, they should, they don't have any bylaws, so there's no real guidance, and the only guidance they would have is through getting legal information, so they don't do something wrong, whatever, they don't overstep their bounds or whatever, and or what they might be looking into. I mean, it's like I asked about streetlights, and then, Wanda in the office gave me the list of the streetlights they contact CMP. So that might be something to look into. Maybe there's streetlights that are, and I'm going to check it out. I'm going to ride around and not be a pain, but just gawk around.
Yeah.
But there's other things they could be looking into where money's being spent that doesn't always appear at the budget committee meetings to be voted on. I mean, last year I asked about the 5% increase. It never was presented to the budget committee. I asked about the expenditures being spent with a comprehensive plan. Not that I'm against it. I just, the budget committee should know what's being spent.
Yeah.
And that was never presented, and it's not out there. And the budget committee doesn't even have a budget, even though they're a budget committee.
Right.
And they don't need one. I mean, because they have access,
Yeah.
So that's my feelings on it. And I'll probably bring it up with the budget committee anyway, no matter what decisions reached here. But I think, to me, I feel the budget committee should really be identified as a legitimate committee that is capable of doing whatever has to be done, or they feel has to be done, and then pursue it in whatever they want. Not antagonistically, just to help the selectmen in the town. And personally, I don't think the selectmen should have to come to every budget committee meeting. I mean, you guys are busy, and you only got appointed on the budget committee in 2013 when it came up to a town vote. And that might have been because they didn't want the vote split, you know, between the selectmen and the budget committee on how, you know, recommendations.
I believe it was because there wasn't enough budget committee people. Why they did that.
Well, I mean, there's 11. I mean, and yeah, I mean, with any committee, it's hard to get people to run, even
Yeah.
selectmen.
Yeah.
Just the last few years, all of a sudden the race has been full.
Yep.
But, yeah, so, again, that's another thing. I think if the budget committee feels like they've got more of a purpose than just rubber stamping voting, you might get more interest, you know, people might get stimulate younger people, especially, you know,
Okay,
yeah.
PJ?
When I was on the rec committee years ago, I had access to MMA. I was elected. Voted in, did the sworn in thing, and I had access to MMA. An advisory committee, as far as I understand it, is an advisory committee, does not make suggestions, does not make decisions, and therefore cannot be held accountable. And legally, I could be wrong about that, but that's my understanding. And the third thing, to answer your question, Mr. Day, is when I was on the budget committee, and 2 selectmen were on the budget committee, I think the same year that we didn't have enough people, there were people who decided, random, hey, let's give X amount of dollars to said agency who hasn't made a request yet. Random, 100, 500, 5,000, let's do this one. That's a good reason to have access to it. They should be making a request and they shouldn't be getting any. And I supported the agency that got the money, but I don't support the fact that some people have to make the request and go through the effort and provide the numbers. And then others don't even make a request. Maybe they don't need any money. Maybe they have a ton of money. Somebody donated a bunch of money. But during that year, it was decided that some random person, some random entity could have X amount of dollars that was pulled out of the air.
I just find it real hard to believe that the budget committee's got a question for MMA and they bring it to the board or to the administrative assistant, that they're gonna say, well, we're not gonna bother.
And the ones that made the
Real-
request to the people that didn't request it, the ones who gave them the money. That falls on the selectmen, that's them,
They're watching the whole thing.
and they're the ones that should be held accountable. They're the ones responsible for the action.
But it's still the budget committee makes their own, oh, sorry.
They make the recommendation, but it's
Yeah,
the selectmen that did it that are to be held out accountable.
but if there's a vote, it goes with the town report how the budget committee voted. So,
There's still.
Try it again, Bruce.
right.
Whereas the budget committee is just makes recommendation on an oversight authority. The oversight lies with you. So you are the people that should do the legal questioning, not the budget committee, because they're only making suggestions or requests. That's why they shouldn't, and the problem is, planning board keeps thinking they have oversight authority, and if you give the budget committee legal, they will think they have oversight authority too, which is an outreach of local government.
Well, and the other thing is, like I mentioned, the budget committee doesn't have bylaws. And they should. They should have, you know, structure. And for them to establish bylaws, they're gonna need legal guidance on what they can write in for bylaws and, you know, on their own. And the planning board has their bylaws. You gotta look at what's the whole 3-4 pages. So, I mean, as far as the budget committee, it's not about an oversight, it's about confidence in what they're suggesting more than anything. Yeah,
Yep, we're gonna bring this back up.
yeah, that's
All right.
right, yeah. And then I had something on Article 6 and 7.
Yeah,
We got another chair for the, you want a chair?
Yeah, Field,
There are some.
Yeah, but we can't let it sit on the side like that, we're supposed to keep 3 feet around it.
chair right here.
You can get on the side.
yeah,
Oh, you still gotta sit up front.
yep.
So the other thing on Article 67 is just as, there's a town to do a public notice that 6 and 7 didn't pass, it's not valid or whatever. And then the paper, just so the voters know how, when, or how it's not, you know, available or not, it'll have to be brought up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be brought up in the local paper, the Brownfield News and the others, yeah.
Yep, we're working on the articles right now.
Yeah, okay, great.
We have a couple of drafts, we're gonna go over again and
Yeah,
see what we can,
because some people have asked me what happened with Article 67.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
I spoke to Sonia the other day and she's gonna give us some more information about the fees. For the, planning board. Cause we only got part of the information, there's the application fees and there's license fees. And she needs to get us both sides so we know what we're looking at, and so she's gonna supply that hopefully sometime this week and we can look at it and bring it back up again.
We do both. The license and.
Right, that's why she wants to give us the numbers. We didn't have all the numbers, when Pam gave us that list. We didn't have all the numbers, we didn't have the,
We're still researching,
Yep.
We do have the criteria,
I read the state part and we cannot give money back.
it's illegal.
Yep.
But that's coming up to the whole answer to the response.
Yep.
When we get it all compiled.
Yep. So the other thing is department heads. It's gonna be on the 2nd and the 4th Tuesdays of the month.
Not first and third.
Right. Very good.
Where's my sticker?
John, correspondence folder.
You wanna look at the correspondence? folder?
I mumble, I don't do a good job.
Well, anything in the. I think we pretty much gone over it also.
The playground's been finished for the workers' comp audit, thank you, Public Works. Planning board agenda for September 5 is in there. Cliff electronically signed the document for Deanna Dissimone for the amendment for no cost on the stream crossing on Finn Hill. Cliff provided a document from Bob's Tire Company, letting them know what the prices are. Did you see those?
I haven't.
They're you'll want them when you do the research. That's why I welcome you.
Yeah.
to Look at it.
Yeah, and Cliff, didn't you find another company too that was better priced or something on
Yeah, I
tires?
have to reach out to Randy McDonald came down there, because I can't remember what you said. They said they was looking for tires, so I don't know what that price is of,
Yeah,
but Bob seems to be keep raising, and then they're not coming to get them as they should.
Yeah.
Because they're going out of the area that we supposed to be having, the footprint that they need. So.
yeah, see what you can find out, get back with you, right?
I don't think anybody wants to bring loading tires now. Yeah.
No,
Because if they keep raising the tires, you know what's gonna happen.
yeah, they're gonna throw them in the woods.
You can side roads.
All right. Plenty of them already.
Joe, you can provide updates to the BCC assessing. The assessing agent is upset. Ongoing following meeting, planning board invites LJ Fellman to discuss zoning. Oxford County Budget Committee caucus is tomorrow at 6. I'll go to that. Executive session. Here for consultation with tax collector. 10 a.m. on September 23rd. September 6th, 2023. Comp plan implementation committee meeting here, September 11th, 2023, 6:30 p.m. General assistance workshop, September 22nd, 2023, MMA from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You and Alvina are doing that? It's gonna be a long day for you. safety meeting here, October 26th, 2023 at 8 AM.
That brings up one more question. The security camera in the administrative and code enforcement's officer, office. I think it should be shut off. Because, or at least capable of being shut off, because like if you have a general assistance, or if we have a executive session, shouldn't be recorded.
I think we better research the whole thing and find out what exactly the security is. There's a lot of information we don't know. We're going by what people think, what,
I agree with that.
I think we need to know who's got access. What the security passwords, etc. How do we edit what's received to take executive sessions and things out of? So I think we need to research the liability before we just, we gotta learn about what it is.
Yep.
So we know what it is before.
Well, we know that, like I agree with you on that, though.
Yeah.
But we also know that if you have a general assistance, it's not public, no.
No, and that's
Right.
part, and the same with the executive sessions. So we need to learn when it's brought back to us, how to take those out, to keep them from being general. That goes to who's got access. There should only be the company, I guess, that does it. Maybe a sheriff or the chair or one or two people that has access to the information to edit the stuff out, and then what can go from there?
I agree with that, but I don't think even the company that can bring the stuff out should have the right to be looking at general assistance before we take it out.
And that's
Right.
And that's what we've got to learn.
Yeah.
Who's got access, he's got to be bonded. He can't just, he's got to be bonded. Anything comes out of him, he's sued to the law.
Right.
So we got to learn what it is. We got to learn.
Yeah.
We should meet with them.
Right.
We should meet with them and learn what it is, what our security is, that it can't be hacked, etc. We've got a lot of suspicions. We've got to learn what it is before we make a decision.
Yeah. Well, I'm just bringing it up, so.
No, I understand. It needed to be. Yeah, we need to address it. There's no question about it, in my opinion.
Yeah. We'll do a short. Anybody got any questions?
What was the,
Cindy?
I did,
I'll let you deal with it.
reference to the security cameras. One of the most important security cameras is in the treasurer's office. And it's been blocked, I think, since it went in. So if somebody comes in to rob the office, there's no record of that. So I'm wondering if that could be corrected.
Definitely look into it.
And that was something I noticed when I was in there last fall. The stuff hanging over it. That's so inappropriate.
Anything else? There's no meeting on September 5th. Yeah, it's a holiday. Okay, you all set? Make a motion.
make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? No. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry, I said junkyard.
I just wanted to know whether you wanted to give you the money tonight or when I pick up the permit or what. So there's monetary transfer before I get you there.
I don't even know where it is. Is the-
I gave it to you, it's a red folder. You got it, I gave it to you, you took another one.
No, I
Right there.
All right.
The second place.
I am.
See that, man?
I'm sorry for mentioning auto grade.
Please, thank you.
Just. Tomorrow. When you gonna,
You're gonna have to, you're gonna hot dish.
that's what I'm trying to figure out with this.
All the pieces.
So if I pay her. Then I have to see you at a later date.
No, it'll be ready for tomorrow. I have to notarize it, that's it.
Yeah.
Sign,
And it is $50, correct? I just want to make sure I
as
did.
far as I know, I haven't seen any difference in price.
Just checking, just checking.
Very good, sir. Thank you.